Very good afternoon, all of you. First of all, I would like to thank Professor G. Gopakumar, my guru, too, for inviting me for this presentation. I'm looking the matter of now the what Professor Riley pointed out, the sea power. The previous presentation, most of the presentation are focused on sea as using as a hard power. I'm looking the other side, sea as a soft power. I'm basically a faculty from the area studies program. Now we are more emphasized on soft power. The idea of soft power is comparatively a new concept, especially the political scientists like Joseph Nye only popularized this term of soft power instead of hard power or traditional method of military power. We can extend our youngsters good hand with even cultural extension or financial extension through getting a goodwill. How can we convert in the Indian Ocean not only hard power when through soft power youngsters also? India's soft power and cultural connectivity in the Bay of Bengal. And because I am focused on Bay of Bengal because my workplace is on the banks of Bay of Bengal. India's soft power, cultural connectivity in the Bay of Bengal, civilizational linkage, and contemporary maritime engagement. The Bay of Bengal has re-emerged as a pivotal sub-region within the Indo-Pacific. The India's soft power and cultural connectivity with the Bay of Bengal littoral states, including Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, Myanmar, Thailand, and Maldives, through an analysis of policy initiatives such as Sagar to Mahasagar. In the previous discussion, we already thoroughly gone through security and growth for all, and the mutual and holistic development for all, and also BIMSTEC cooperation framework and the Indo-Pacific Ocean Initiative, along with the cultural initiative like Project Mausa. That is actually a government of India's policy is extending junction to international, especially regional logistic management. A kind of soft power is extended through this Project Mausa, and also a Buddhist circuit. And in my this paper argues that cultural connectivity enhances the trust building and complements India's strategic and economic objective. The Bay of Bengal has historically functioned as a connected maritime space linking South and Southeast Asia through trade, religion, and mobility. The best example for now in Tamil Mamalapuram or Mahabalipuram is extended our maritime or cultural extension to the entire Southeast Asian region. The best example for the world's largest temple complex that is in Angkor Wat. Many of the Southeast Asian states, big cities or island, the name of Hindu epic like Java, Bali, and other Cambodian villages also. And also has emphasized strategic importance for economic security and connectivity imperatives, because now our maritime proximity with the Southeast Asian states, we have now this. That's why one of the objective for now we are developing this Indira Point to the nearest archipelago state, Indonesia. A strategic framework largely abstracted in the Bay of Bengal from its pre-colonial maritime past, and over securitization of regional analysis, scholarly focus, privilege, naval balance, and port infrastructure, and extra regional competition also. And also soft power is often treated as an episodic diplomacy rather than as a historical embedded structural condition. The objective of this paper mainly on conceptualize the Bay of Bengal as a historical maritime region, not merely a strategic theater. Another round examine how civilizational connectivity operates as a long-term conditioning factor in a regional politics, and analyze the contemporary maritime engagement through the lens of historically produced soft power, and assess the implication of this perspective for regional cooperation framework, particularly the BIMSTEC. The historical and the archaeological scholarship and deep history of bay connectivity, the policy and regional studies literature, especially BIMSTEC's strategic relevance, and comparative analysis of regional cooperation mechanism. This analytical method includes the thematical review, document analysis of policy frameworks, and conceptual synthesis to derive the infernal linkage between past connectivity and current diplomatic practices. The historical structure of the cultural connectivity through monsoon navigation enabled a predictable repeated interaction, and also port polity systems, Eastern Indian ports, Sri Lankan hubs, Burmese and Southeast Asian nodes facilitated sustained mobility. And also religious network, particularly Buddhism, operated as a trans-regional institutions linking elites and community. And India's contemporary maritime initiatives display implicit historical resonance when not explicitly framed, such as the BIMSTEC sub-regional and logistic marines or order-based interaction patterns. It also Project Mausam consciously invokes historical maritime roots, and cultural diplomacy initiative leverage shared religious and historical narratives such as the Buddhist diplomacy or shared heritage with Sri Lanka, Myanmar, and Thailand. Second one, maritime cultural corridors. So it is the Sagarmala project, BIMSTEC cultural initiative, and also the diaspora network, socio-cultural influence in Malaysia and Singapore. The soft power is not merely an attraction generated by policy, and it is conditioned by historically produced familiarity, legitimacy, and trust in the Bay of Bengal. Civilizational connectivity lowers the transaction cost of cooperation by reducing cultural distance and enabling shared narrative of regional belonging, facilitating institutional acceptance. For the understanding of this, civilizational connectivity has three implications. First one, cultural initiatives are not symbolic add-on but strategic enablers. And institutional effectiveness depend on historical reason and not just functional design. And sustainable maritime governance require integrating history, identity, and strategy. It does not claim deterministic causality between history and policy outcome. And civilizational connectivity operates as a conditioning variable, not sufficient cause. And the second, future research can integrate network analysis, archival expansion, and comparative maritime regions also. Actually, the Bay of Bengal is the largest single maritime space in the Eastern Indian Ocean. Always has a strong Asian connection, South Asian connections. Traditionally, the concept of the bay have envisaged the ocean has a strong Asian connection. Traditionally, conception of bay in this ocean space is comprising two distinct regions, South and Southeast Asia. The Bay of Bengal has gained an attention in recent years due to geopolitical competition, economic project, and regional groupings like BIMSTEC. However, the region did not suddenly become important in the modern period. For centuries, the bay functioned as a connected maritime space. In soft power is understood, soft power is usually described as a set of diplomatic tools such as cultural events or exchanges. And also the soft power in the Bay of Bengal works less through the persuasion and more through familiarity. Long-standing cultural and historical links reduces mistrust and make cooperation and not acceptable, more acceptable. India's cultural and civilizational initiative are effective when they connect with the existing historical ties. So far, here is not created from scratch; it builds in what already exists. The regional institutions like BIMSTEC reflect older patterns of interaction across Bay of Bengal. Initiatives such as Project Mosam highlight shared maritime heritage and cultural history. These efforts suggest diplomatic route in historical understanding can support economic and strategic cooperation. In conclusion, the Bay of Bengal should be understood as a historical connected maritime region rather than only a strategic zone. Recognizing this helps explain how soft power operates and why some regional initiative gain support. Thank you, Nato.